We're live. We're watching Duke versus North Carolina, number 1 versus number 2 in the ACC. And why are we doing that here in Colorado? Because, well, it's still some of the best basketball out there. We'll do this with some local games too. We're excited to do this with more live events, more live watch-alongs. We want you joining us. Put your comments and thoughts in the text. We'll share them. Daddy Surprise is already excited. Thank you for joining us. That's right. It's basketball time. Duke versus North Carolina. 2 top 10 teams. What are your thoughts? What's your predictions of the game? Who's going to win? Maybe by how much? Last I saw, North Carolina was favored, I think, by 4.5. Is that still where it stands yet? 4.5, and the over-under is 152.5. So that means they're both going to, scoring is around 76 a team. So 76, 77 there. So that's what they're predicting, the prognosticators. So we have a lot planned for today. I'm excited to have you with us. NFL super agent Peter Schaefer is going to be joining us. I got some questions about him. He's a coach as well. He coaches high school lacrosse. It's always fun to talk about, getting ready for a rivalry. What does that look like? Plus, he's actually down in Mobile, so maybe we'll get some NFL draft insight while we're at it from there as well. Dr. David Bruton coming on later, and plus others. Who knows who's going to show up? So it will be entertaining. So we appreciate you taking part of your Saturday with us. They're doing the starting lineups right now at the Duke North Carolina game. It is in Chapel Hill, so it always makes it a little bit more fun. They were showing some of the replays earlier with all the blood that has been spilled in this rivalry, which is always fun to see. So right now, point score, this is an interesting stat here. Right now, Duke's at 76.8, UNC's at 76. So right there, we're at it. I like the prediction there. I am not an unbiased observer of the game, by the way. I am a Duke fan. I've been a Duke fan. And I circle these days on my calendar and tell my wife, hey, it's Duke, North Carolina. Unless we absolutely have to be somewhere else, I want to be watching this game. So that's what these games mean to me. I lived in North Carolina in the Raleigh area for a number of years. So I always enjoy these games. So we actually reached out to Coach Dick Vitale to see if he could join us for a few minutes. He is on. What was it? Oh, we got Peter Schaefer in the waiting room. So give me 1 second. We'll bring Peter. Give me thumbs up if you're good. Peter Schaefer. Are those North Carolina colors there, Peter?
No, they're lacrosse colors.
Okay, I'm just making sure there. They're doing this.
No, I don't go Carolina blue.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't have a fancy mic like you do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're doing the low tech setup there.
Now this is high tech, so high tech you can't even see the microphone. But it is pretty cool, though, Rob, isn't it? When you have two marquee teams, top 10. I think this is the 29th time, right? That they've played
sounds
top
right.
10 against top 10.
And that's the way these rivalries should be. You want both teams to be good. I don't know where you at, but I am such a Duke fan. I want North Carolina to be undefeated until they play Duke, and I want Duke to rip their heart out each time. That's where I'm at on it.
I think one of the best parts about the rivalry are the Cameron Crazies. And so when you play North Carolina like you are here, you sort of lose that element.
Oh, yeah. No, and this is a bigger stadium than at Cameron Indoor. Cameron Indoor is significantly smaller than most stadiums. Most people don't realize how small it is. When Kyrie was a freshman at Duke, some of the coaches I know, we actually went to their coaches clinic and watched their practice. And it is not a big arena. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there's some big schools that have comparable stadiums. So
no,
Peter,
it's the cleverness of the Cameron Crazies that you respect.
Oh, absolutely. They got the chance. They do their background checks before the game. That's for sure.
I would imagine, though, you got no football on. This is the only game in town tonight. This is It's not going to get 40 million viewers like the NFC Championship game.
Right. Hey, before we keep going on, so I tried to get Coach Dick Vitale on. I texted him, and he is on. He texted me back. He says, "I cannot talk on vocal cord complete voice rest."
Yes. So yeah, he had a Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
And part of the treatment, I guess. Oh, Duke is coming out in are those black uniforms?
Yeah, they're the dark navy blues, I believe.
Ooh, not a fan.
What about the script Duke?
I can do that. Yeah, look, the fans are going crazy. This reminded me like of Virginia Tech. League, yeah, or Virginia Tech. Thank God they don't serve alcohol before the games to the students.
Right. That can only go a certain way. In a few minutes here, probably around the TV timeout of the first game, Coach Vitale did send me a message that we can play to talk about his V Foundation.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do that here in a little bit. But we do have a question here for you from Daddy Surprise on YouTube, Peter. Is Bo Nix a dud, Peter?
Is that a dud or a dude?
I'm gonna either way. I'll tell you. I mean, is Bo Nix a dud, Peter?
Well, I got my crack staff of scouts sitting next to me. What do you think, they're anonymous scout?
I don't think he's very good.
You got to talk louder.
Oh, I don't think he's very good. I didn't realize I was talking. I thought you were talking.
Bo Nix, I think he's got a lot of positive attributes. He's a winner. You know, he's been through a lot of adversity. You know, multiple schools, multiple systems. You know, he can take control of the offense. You just wonder if he has enough physical talent to be an elite quarterback.
Okay, fair.
You know, you look at a guy like, you know, Colt McCoy, maybe a little more athletic Colt McCoy, a Tim Hasselback, maybe. But I don't see the upside with Bo Nix. But there are a lot of great qualities that he has.
Oh, yeah. Filipowski there with the first bucket. Are you a big man guy, Peter? Like when you're watching a game with a basketball game, are you looking at the bigs? Like what did you play when you were younger? Or maybe you're still playing on Saturday mornings, this like before shoveling.
I played when I was younger. I think it was left out. When I was on a good team, I was playing left out. And I was a guard. I was a point guard.
Okay.
But I think that, you know, the game it's such a big little game. And so it's always interesting to me to see how these coaches match it up. Like you can see right now that Duke sort of got 4 little guys, right?
And Filipowski. Yep.
Yeah. And then, you know, then they're going to go the big guy. And he's going to go big man ball. And he threw up a air ball.
Yeah. As much of a Duke fan as I am, I really love the North Carolina secondary break that they run. Like, I think that is fun basketball to watch. It's fun basketball to play, especially like I've coached at a high school level, getting guys to run it at a high school level. It's pushing the ball up the court, looking to attack quickly. And, you know, it's the idea of the secondary break is getting a bucket before their defense is set up.
But you need athletic guards, though.
Correct. That's always been the downside of it. And what's interesting with both these groups over the last few years, and I'm curious on the why, but they don't, neither Duke or North Carolina, as they're shooting another 3, though, is like, I don't feel like they've had lights out shooters compared to other teams in college basketball. They've been more get to the basket, like more that traditional basketball where you may have one shooter on the team, but not multiple.
5 stars and all the 5 stars.
Because, you know, most of the time they're just recruiting 5 stars, and you're more athletic guys.
Yep.
And so then you wind up stuck with a bunch of great athletes, and you might miss out the roster composition of versatility. But you need the outside shooters to keep the defenses honest.
Absolutely.
The only way to keep them pressed out.
Matt Lively watching along on Facebook. Let's go, Duke.
Basketball player hurt his elbow, could be out 2 weeks. You know, these basketball players.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, are you calling basketball players softer? I'm just wanting to clarify that.
No, I was just making a point.
At least we're not soccer players.
Right. So it was number 7 Duke versus number 3 North Carolina.
Correct. And
it's
1
crazy
and 2
to believe they've already played 20 games.
Yeah. What's fun about this time of year is it's that back end of where they've played everybody at least once. And then in the next couple of weeks, they'll play the rematch of this game at Cameron.
And then they could play each other a third time in the ACC tournament.
Correct. Do you ever go to the college tournaments like the Pac-12 or the ACC tournament?
No, I've been to the Final Fours.
Okay.
And the final, the Crazy Eights and Sweet 16. Nice pass. North Carolina, that big man's got such great vision.
He's been in college for 25 years. It seems like.
Of course, he is 28 years old.
Bacat, he's been there. It seems like he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Andy Rager on Facebook. This will be a man's game and hard fought. Definitely an electric environment.
It's good. Well, how many steps are you allowed to take?
Where are you at in the game anyway? I'm at around 7:20 in the game.
I'm at 17:06.
Okay, so you're whatever systems you watch it on, you're usually ahead of me. That's for sure. Are you talking about that to the basket there up the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many steps are you allowed to take?
Usually, if you have in high school, if you have picky officials, you usually get like one before putting the ball down. Oh, this isn't looking good.
You just got to dribble. In my rule book, you just got to dribble every once in a while.
The Peter Schaefer rule book.
Yeah, just dribble every once in a while. We're good.
That number 0 is a TikTok. Oh, never mind. Fifth one, yeah.
This next possession here, at least where I'm at here for Duke, they're down 4-10. Is important.
We're about to see beautiful, one of the greatest air balls of all time.
The savant Peter watching sports again with us.
Yeah. Pausing it for a bit.
That is a phenomenal. That's like a church league air ball right there, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Just leave it like
Then
that.
I want to be forward. I like to be a savant.
Oh,
Did you see the air ball?
yeah, I saw the air ball. That's like church league special right there.
It's pickle burns.
Well, I call that a Vic Lombardi special.
I invited him to this, by the way. I invited him.
All right, I'm at 15:45. Where are you at?
16 minutes right now.
All right, so I'm a good 15 seconds ahead of you. Still a little sloppy. It's always sloppy at the beginning. Everybody's a little nervous.
Oh, yeah. Filipowski with the
Oh, don't bring that inside the Dean Smith court. That's the airball center.
It is sloppy.
I think Duke's going to try to slow it down a little here, get a little composure. This is where, the thing about basketball, you got so many more timeouts. Don't be afraid to burn some in the first half just to get everybody on the same page. Let everybody take a deep breath.
Roy Williams, and I haven't watched enough North Carolina when with Hubert Davis as the coach, but Roy Williams was notorious for never calling timeouts.
Sometimes you got to call timeout just to get everybody calmed down. So take a deep breath, grab a Gatorade, let's go. Because right now, I mean, they can't be shooting but 25% from the field.
No, it's got to be rough right now. What's interesting, by the way, I don't know if you've watched much Duke games this year, but with Shire as the coach, you can see him there on the sidelines. He works his way up to the edge of that coach's box, just like any coach does. But he's calling the plays out almost like an offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah,
and
they don't make him stay in the coaching box. Those guys are.
Oh yeah, those are guidelines. That's for sure.
Now, if Pete Carroll was there, he'd be working the box and the gum.
So you might appreciate this, Peter. So there's a team we played out on the Eastern Plains, and they would press and trap. And what the coach would do is he would get out of the coach's box and have his heels he'd have his both feet in the game of play, which shrunk the court by like a foot and a half. So it's like technically, if you hit him as a player, it's a technical foul on the team. But like you have high school kids, they're not trying to hit a 50-year-old coach.
Even if he's on the court?
Yeah, if you're a coach and you're in the game of play and you get hit with the like a player runs into you, like you interfere with the game, it's a technical foul, like it's a bench tech. And so what this coach would do is he would actually stand on the court just a little bit to shrink the court up a little bit. And every game we watched, like if there was some coaches we knew, we watched it and we started noticing it. Every game he would do it. And so we had to play him in a district game, and we called it out to the officials like, hey, if he's on the court, can you guys get him off the court for us, please? And they did.
it's smart if you're not gonna call it, might take advantage.
Absolutely. So
Games are a lot better when Dickie V's announcing them. We need him back.
absolutely. So speaking of Dickie V, he sent us a clip. It's about a 2-minute clip here. We're going to play it, talking about his V Foundation and what's going on with that. So we're going to put that up here. It'll mute our mics here for a second, Peter. We'll
Go.
be right back.
One of the best-known residents of Bradenton is Hall of Fame sportscaster Dick Vitale. Dickie V is, of course, an original, and he's holding an unusual raffle to benefit the Dick Vitale Pediatric Cancer Research Fund at the V Foundation. It is a great cause here. The winner and a guest get to join Dick at his home in Bradenton, at his house, to watch a Sweet 16 game together. It includes airfare, 2 nights in a hotel, a dinner cruise, and transportation to and from that event. Plus, you'll get to receive 2 all-access tickets to the 19th annual Dick Vitale Gala in Sarasota. That's on May 3rd, where they will honor Derek Jeter, Jeff Gordon, and Tennessee basketball coach Rick Barnes. This sounds like an absolute blast. They told me that last year, the winner of that raffle has become a good friend of the family. Right now, Dick is recovering from another vocal cord surgery, but he wanted 10 Tampa Bay viewers to know about this event right here. So he wrote it out on a whiteboard. Check it out right here. This is for the raffle. You go to v.org/super16, and for the gala, go to dickvitale.com. Lorraine Vitale tells me that Dick is doing well right now and is hopeful to have his voice fully restored. We're all hoping for that, and what a powerful and important voice that he has. Thanks to both Dick and Lorraine for all they do in their fight to raise money for pediatric cancer research. It's a great cause.
Yes, it is.
So much needed when it comes to fundraising for pediatric cancer.
No doubt. Thank you, Dave. Anytime Dickie V is involved, you got to say sensational, right? Great information that they really are making a difference to. That foundation has raised almost $66.7 million.
And you know what? Coming from Tobacco Road, UNC, I mean, can you imagine watching March Madness with the guy who is synonymous with March Madness, Dickie V? All right. I mean, I'm in.
So that's a pretty cool event there, Peter. For $100, you get put into a raffle for a Porsche.
Well, I'd rather just get Dickie V healthy. I'd be good for $100 for that.
Right? V Foundation, get it, potentially then also hang out with Dickie V, help raise money for cancer research. The V Foundation. So right now it's after the first media time out here. It's 13-8. North Carolina's leading. They're even in their matchups over the last, they were like, what is it, 24-24 when Duke's played North Carolina? I thought I saw.
That's what makes a great rivalry is the parity.
Yes. So you were actually just down in Mobile, correct? Looking at future NFL guys coming.
Yes, at the Senior Bowl.
What caught your eye on that? What was is there anything you're allowed to tell us? I know you're there probably for more clandestine reasons, but
Well, no,
what are you allowed to share?
We're watching the practices, and so you're trying to see, how your guys do, how they stack up, what the scouts think of them, that type of stuff. Ooh. Good ball movement. Got to start knocking down some good shots, though. And there were some players that definitely helped themselves. Some players that probably wish they would have prepared more or worked harder, or played better. And then there's a lot of gumbo and oysters.
Right. So when you're watching college basketball, like you've watched a ton of Nuggets games, I'm sure too. It's a different game in college than in the NBA. Because you can play a true zone. You don't have to, there's no 3 seconds in the lane for the defense. Like,
there's no doubt. But the thing about it is that the difference in the NBA is that you've got, how many Division I programs in college. Everybody thinks going to the pros, and you only have, essentially 30 draft choices each year. Yeah.
They say in the second round, there's less than a 50% chance that they're going to make the roster long term.
Correct. In the NFL, that's 6th or 7th round numbers.
Yep.
So
North Carolina with a 3. This is when it's early. You don't want to get too upset. I mean, they're down. I have it where you're about 20 seconds ahead of me. We're down 6.
North Carolina seems
Right.
to be pretty stagnant though. They're not moving. And they're a team that has to move to score.
Correct. If they're not scoring quick,
Ooh.
that's not the style of play they want. They typically are. They want to be in.
Yep, they move it, and you can always tell in basketball though that they have 15 guys in the roster, and only 8 of them have their sweats off.
Yeah, no, you only typically play 8 deep. Sometimes as they get tighter down at only 7, especially in college and high school. NBA, I think you go to the 8th guy a little bit more often just because of the the length of the games. But
right, but you really you're only playing 7 guys, and you can see where they're trying to rest the big man. They're going to put him back in right here.
oh yeah, Filipowski's coming in. It's right around the media timeouts. It's on the 4s.
Yep, and that way you get the nice pass. See, that's what Duke does. Great passing.
Were you concerned with Duke when Shire took over last year? Like, I mean, you have a monster as a coach in Coach K and a legacy he built. And then the guy following up that legacy's nice. It's tough to follow. Big shoes to fill.
Well, there are a lot of big shoes. This year you're going to have Pete Carroll. Someone's going to fill his shoes. Bill Belichick. Someone's going to fill his shoes. And, sort of comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that is just a poor shot selection. And a big 3 for North Carolina. I mean, for Duke. You got what we want. We want a close game.
Oh yeah. So I have a Duke shirt I wear sometimes, and I wore it at a hike at Garden of the Gods. It is the only shirt that I wear out that I've ever gotten people yelling at me at. Like,
really?
You get, oh yeah, there's a hatred towards Duke out there.
No, you can hate them. I mean, they're not.
It's
arrogant.
a sports hate.
Well, right, but they're not pompous. They're not arrogant. They're not cocky. They play the game the right way.
Oh yeah.
They don't.
It's kind of like the Kansas City Chief hate. Or like with the Patriots when Tom Brady was there. People just want someone new.
Speaking of new, there's just like 5 guys trying to check in the game right now.
Right? Well, it's been a while since they've blown a whistle. That's not a whistle there. Wow. I mean, they're almost going to get to the second media timeout here before the next.
Right. And they didn't score there, and clock still runs.
Oh yeah.
So who do you think is going to win the national championship then?
Ever since the transfer portal, it affects basketball quicker than football because you only need 1 or 2 guys to really impact a team. And it really seems like there's teams out there that are more competitive than there used to be. And where it's like it's not as top heavy with just a couple teams where there's that one dominant Kansas team.
Well, because you don't need. First of all, there's a lot better good players.
Correct.
2 or 3 to have a good team.
Yeah.
And especially if one of those 2 or 3 are big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the kid from Purdue, or and Holmgren was at
Yep.
Gonzaga. He changes everything.
Yeah. Gonzaga's taken a dip the last few years.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle to get to Holmgrens and those guys.
Yeah.
Here's downtown. Ooh, missed.
Yeah, they haven't had a type like a ball stoppage since the last
But
meeting.
look at how quickly North Carolina moves the ball down the court. They're just constantly.
Yeah, that's that secondary break, which is great. Which it's get it and go, and you're trying to push the ball up the middle because you can see how then they move to the wings, and they got a big going to the high lows, and so because like you talked earlier about with like mismatches with the bigs, that's what they're trying to get is with that high low mismatch, moving the ball up and down the court. So I mean, they put the ball to the wings, and then they have so many set plays. It's unreal how many plays they have then out of that set. But just like in football, you have like
they have all those set plays, and they know when to use them. They know how to go big, middle.
But all the plays are about the same. It's just how do you get there? And just like football, where it's like most of the plays, there's a lot of similarities in how what's being run. It's just how do you get set up to run it?
So, what's your prediction for the game then?
For this game, I'm always going to go Duke. You'll know it's UNC's favored by 4.5, and I thought it was like, what is it, one? The over/under was 152.5, and I'll take the over on it, especially as how frantically it did start here. We have Andy Rager commenting in his final four. It's UConn, Marquette, UK, and KU.
What is it? UConn, Marquette,
Kentucky, and Kansas.
Buck and Coup. What do you think about that game?
I don't watch the college basketball.
So no UNC, no Duke, huh?
Yeah, no, I'll always pick Duke to get to the Final Four. When I'm filling out my brackets, unless I know Duke's bad or they have a real unfavorable matchup, I just can't pick against my heart. It's like
you can't pick with your heart. You got to bet with your mind.
So when it comes to like March Madness and filling out a bracket, how many brackets do you fill out?
I'll fill out 2 because I don't want to. Because I know they're going to be right. So why do I need to do more? And B, I don't bet. I'm not picking them with my heart. So I think I'm going to do a better job.
Yeah. No, it's hard for me to pick against Duke. So that's just me.
I don't think Duke is going to make the Final Four this year. This is a big team for them. I think if they can win this game and beat some more of the ACC teams, they have a chance. But I just think some those other teams are just too strong, too powerful.
I think so. I mean, McCain's come back for Duke, and is it Proctor, number 5? Those guys are kind of the guards that push the team with Filipowski. And it was Proctor that I think that was out earlier with an ankle injury. So with him coming back, Duke's made a run with him coming back. So I feel more confident picking Duke, especially with their experience going deeper in the last few years. So I'm okay with picking Duke and not feeling like too much of a homer.
So Duke plays Notre Dame Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Notre Dame, we got Dr. David Bruton coming on here anytime. Notre Dame grad.
Was he a grad or just attended?
That's a good question. We should clarify that. I know he started in yeah.
Did he walk?
That's a good question. He might be one of the smartest players I know in the sense like he's got his doctorate like in physical therapy. But
he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Where he went to?
Then he went to CU for his doctorate.
Well, looks like they're just trying to buy some time here, kill some clock. In their ugly uniforms.
Hey now. Daddy Surprise on YouTube is asking the question, is Bronny James NBA caliber? I think he's NBA caliber because whoever takes him, they know LeBron will go there for a season at least.
Yeah, but is he going to play? Is he going to disappoint?
I mean, he's last I've seen, he hasn't been doing too great at USC. So, I mean, like anything else is going to the next level. You got to be pretty. Do they just call it travel?
There's time out. But how good is USC?
Not all that great either. Let me check.
Right. And they supposedly have the number 1 recruit in the country. What do we got?
We got, let's see here. Did they call timeout? Oh, it's back-to-back media timeouts because they basically played through a media timeout. With media timeouts, do you really need to call real timeouts much?
Not in the first half. Not in the first half.
Speaking of Dr. David Bruton, he just got into the waiting room. David, you good? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. David, welcome. You're here with super agent Peter Schaefer.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
And I'm just
What's up, Doc?
So we were asking a question. I don't know if you heard. Did you graduate from Notre Dame as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you walk, Peter.
And was Coach Bray that coach there?
Oh, Daddy.
No, I had Coach Weiss there for my 4 years.
Who was the basketball coach?
Oh, Mike Bray. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Want some soup? I want some soup.
I'll have some soup, baby.
Is that Lily in
Daddy.
the background?
Make it, Daddy.
That's Dayton.
Oh, Dayton. Okay.
Mhm.
You got to go make the soup.
No, we ordered some pho.
Oh, nice.
What's pho?
Is it Vietnamese soup, broth,
Oh, I think
noodles, bean sprouts.
my son's maybe eat that.
No, it's great on days like today. Peter? Did you make your kids shovel?
No, I make my wife shovel. You got to know how to run your unit. I run my unit the way I run my unit.
I won't judge, but I am, I guess. So
Well, you got to know
we shoveled 3 times out here.
how much snow do you have out?
I haven't shoveled yet.
Yeah, we shoveled we got about 10 plus is what we're guessing.
That's what y'all got down there?
Yeah.
I think we're at 5, 6
Yeah.
over this way.
Yeah, no, it was closer to a foot than not a foot here. We're at 6,400 feet, so I hear
Yeah.
Boulder's getting hammered with snow right now though.
Yeah, everything up north.
South Denver. Are you
I've,
getting hammered, Dave?
Yeah, we got hammered early on today, and I had to drive to the stadium, and they were just getting some rain, and then it started snowing once I parked at the stadium.
Well, our family's got a new cat. Doesn't know what to do in the snow. It's actually enjoyable watching.
That's
Well,
funny.
I don't know about cats anyway. Shouldn't have got one.
Yeah, no, our dog loves the snow. She's a border collie, and she just goes out there, runs, jumping around in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Once
know
upon
why
a
he's
time, I was-
Who you got today, David? Duke or North Carolina? Are you allowed to root for either one of them, being an ACC basketball school guy?
I mean, I don't know if our basketball program, men's wise, was really that competitive during my time there. We had a good couple stints, but I would go North Carolina over Duke.
Oh, you're killing me, David. You're killing me, David.
North Carolina over Duke. I mean, yeah. I mean, I got a good buddy who's a PT. He might be in that picture right there. Is that him? No, that's not him. He's a PT doing a Duke residency, or he just finished it. And then Luke Kennard went to Duke, and he's from right outside my hometown. So,
Okay.
yeah.
There can't be that many dumb people that went to either Duke or North Carolina. They're all pretty smart now.
You would think so. But not as smart as Notre Dame.
I was waiting for that one.
And how do you figure that?
Because we're smarter than everybody. No, I'm kidding.
He's trying to get Vic to show up on the show just randomly, Peter. Just talk about Notre Dame enough and see if Vic just shows up. It's like
Vic
Beetlejuice.
Vic will show up, but then all of a sudden we'll lose our audience.
So I was thinking to David today while shoveling. I was like, my shoulder's getting all like it's like doing it. It's that heavy snow that gives you that weightlifting. It's like weight training doing the shoveling today.
I love that.
So
yeah, it's good old East Coast type snow. Wet, heavy.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Lift with the knees.
ain't nobody lifting with those knees. I'm just trying to get that thing done. I am pushing the heck out of that shovel.
27-24.
That's what I'm at. Just 6:02 left is what I see.
Right.
It should be a fun one down the stretch here if they keep it up like this.
Yeah.
David, did you ever play much basketball? You've come to my basketball clinics, but did you play much in high school?
No, I didn't play at all in high school. I settled in on 2 sports, football and track.
Do you have a lot of the basketball guys that run track with you?
From my high school? Not really. No.
Basketball players don't like 2 sports typically, it feels like. Oh,
Well,
come on, Duke.
Yeah, because they're year round.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's year round. And football is trying to get to the point of year round, right? They have summer tackling camps. They have spring ball. I'm talking about high school.
Yeah.
High school, Cherry Creek. I know Logan goes from January, 3rd, all the way through the state playoffs.
Yeah, it's legit year round now. But is it just lifting, or are they doing like 7-on-7 camps, team camps, tackling?
No. Mostly they're not going that hard in the offseason.
Yeah. Versus basketball, volleyball, baseball.
They're lifting, running, and having meetings though.
Yeah.
Which is ludicrous but they you got to let kids play 2 sports.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Specialization is not always a good thing.
So, David, being like playing in the safety role that you did, you had to guard a lot of tight ends in your time. And a lot of those tight ends seem to be basketball converts into football.
Mm-hmm.
How did that affect how you guarded a guy or saw a guy or played against him?
Well, yeah, you have to understand that they were a lot shiftier than most, right? And then they're good at positioning, boxing out, pointing the ball, just a bigger body, but knowing how to use it, to gain position. So, like Antonio Gates is a prime example, just very fluid with his route running and could tell,
very
he
athletic.
didn't know what he was doing, but he some way somehow knew how to maneuver and box you out so he can make the reception.
Yeah, no, good thing we don't teach boxing out anymore in basketball. So they probably won't be doing that too much longer.
Boxing out has gone the way of the travel. You can do whatever you want in this league.
Hey, there's a question here for you, David. What do you think of the current Bronco logo?
I like the current Bronco logo. I mean, I do wish that I had a chance to play in the color rush where we went to the old school D. That was always like, we got to do it one time. Nope, never did. And then as soon as I left, they brought it up. I was like, ain't that about a
you got to learn coaching.
So as we're looking at the game here, 4:40 to go. North Carolina's up by 4. They just missed a free throw. At least
they're up by 5.
Must have made the next free throw. Peter, you've coached. When games are tight like this going into the first half, what are you looking for?
Well, if I'm up, I'm looking to control the ball. If I'm down, I'm looking to not panic and take good shots.
Yeah. The term I've always used with our guys is like, it's knowing how many possessions you're down. Like being down 5 really means you're down 2.5 possessions. And so can you score, stop, score? And that's where a lot of guys sometimes they get frantic. Like, can they score quickly? It's like, you got plenty of time here. Just keep the game close. You notice how Duke's going under the screens on a lot. They're daring him to shoot outside. They are not protecting the 3-point line. Like they're daring him to attack or to daring him to shoot. And there they just paid for it.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of shocked that that's what they do. Especially because how basketball is. Well, I guess the Houston Rockets, right? You live and die by the 3.
Right. No, it's coached differently. Like it's even I coached junior high basketball this year. From what we taught kids and what we had to play against, there's a lot more outside shooting than there used to be. Like we call it the Michael Porter Jr. 3-point wall, where players don't want to run past it, and they just want to stand at the 3-point line and shoot. They don't want to go to the basket. They'd rather shoot the three.
Yeah, and I guess analytics wise, is that more advantageous?
It is actually. So I remember seeing something from Calipari a number of years ago now, and the area between, say, a step behind the free throw line or a foot behind the free throw line to the 3-point line, the percentage of those makes are around like 43-ish%, like a step inside the 3-point line. But you get behind the 3-point line, and a good shooter still shooting like 41% in college. So the term is like it's not worth shooting like in that mid-range area anymore. Once you get closer to the basket, the numbers get higher. But in that mid-range area, it's just not worth it. So it's either shoot the three or, like you said with the Rockets, it's either get to the basket or shoot a three. I have seen more and more where that mid-range game is coming back because teams have gone to zones, and that's what's opened up then. So if that's what's open,
you have a shooter. You need a shooter. You gotta have an active shooter.
Oh yeah. And the thing from even when you think back in the late 90s with the Bulls, when you had Paxson and Kerr and those guys, like you had one guy that was like the dedicated shooter typically. Other guys could shoot, but like it's Paxson's the shooter or it's Kerr's the shooter. Now it's 3 or 4 guys out there. Like when you think of the Nuggets, you could have a grouping of 5 guys out there where any of them could knock down a 3 and you'd feel pretty confident with any of them shooting an open look.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't imagine Bill Cartwright out there shooting threes. If you're the Knicks and he's shooting threes, you're going, "Oh, we'll take that."
I don't know if David understood the reference.
I know who Cartwright is. I ain't that young.
Cartwright. Who's Bill Cartwright?
The center for the Bulls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke Longley. How about that one? Is that a little bit better?
I know that too, and Tony Kukoc and all that before Ron Harper got there, and yep.
Luke Longley from what school?
Oh, I don't know what school. Don't get twisted.
From Australia.
I know who they are. And then Tony Kukoc from overseas.
Yeah,
I know some things.
That was a great team.
Oh yeah.
But Bill Cartwright, boy, yeah, he was not exactly the master of the outside shot.
No, he was not.
It was a different era back then. More people had self-awareness and knew their limitations.
Yep.
See the air balls. You didn't see a lot of these silly mistakes. People played to their strength.
Yeah, and there's way more similarity in player styles from the guard to the big these days because the bigs do the ball handling now just as much as the guards. So you have a lot more freedom in the game and where it's opened up the game. I mean, you see Jokic dribbling the ball at the court for the Nuggets.
Yeah. Or, was it a point forward with LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron can be whatever he wants. Come on.
Yeah. Right.
It's Jokic that's, you wonder sometimes just let someone else bring it up just to save your energy.
Right.
Yeah. Back to Jokic, do you think he should have won MVP last year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he got robbed. What about Murray not making the All-Star game this year?
Well, hasn't he been hurt a lot?
He was out for 14 games?
Yeah, and he's got only 4 more games that he can miss before he can get paid or whatever the NBA just put out there.
Yeah, the 64 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Joker didn't win because they're over here trying to keep Jordan as the greatest player of all time, right? You put Joker to win 3 in a row. Now I was like, oh snap, is he better than Jordan? Is he better than LeBron? Is he better than Kobe?
Yeah, but none of them are better than the 69-70 Knicks with Willis Reed, Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley, Earl the Pearl Monroe, and Walt Clyde Frazier.
Sure, I'll agree with you on that one, Peter.
I don't know them guys. Nope.
I just read off the whole freaking. I got it, and you had an air ball. You shot an air ball. I even got the backups: Dick Barnett, Jamie Lucas. Come on, just rattling off, and I'm not even googling. Doc, what's your favorite basketball team? Rattle off their top 7.
The top 7 players in my favorite basketball team?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, we're going Cavaliers. We got LeBron. We got Zidane Zagaskis. We got Kevin Love, Tristan. We have Mark Price, Kyrie.
Does Craig
Bingo
Elo
Smith. Remember Bingo?
Does Craig Elo land on there?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. I mentioned Love. I mean, we should have won 3 when we had all those guys there. But
Yeah. No, absolutely.
This game here, 38-33. We're looking at 80 points maybe by halftime. So the 150 mark looks like it's going to be a pretty strong mark.
Oh, they're on track for it. That's for sure.
Hopefully they'll change their uniforms at halftime.
Settle down, Peter. Settle down. Settle down.
I'm just saying.
Why is female basketball 4 quarters and males are still at 2 halves?
That's a great question. I think part of it is the tradition for the guys. They don't want to switch to the 4 quarters.
Well,
Hey, the people that make the decisions are probably over 50. And David, as you gotten older, a little bit more like stuck in your ways on how you want things done?
I feel like once you get stagnant, you become complacent and things start to pass you by.
That's fair.
That's Dayton's heels. Just playing through the house. Dayton's heels.
Yeah, no, boy. Duke can come, like, they bring it in within a few points, and then North Carolina goes on another run. We just cannot, like, get over the hump. I think we've had the best was a 2-point lead at one point. Hey, Peter, are you a golfer?
I used to golf more than I do now.
Bruton, you still got any openings in your golf event here this summer?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. We're just starting to push it out to start accumulating some golfers and sponsors. July 1st at the Ravenna. Ever played there, Peter?
Oh, that's one now southwest over by Martin Marietta.
I believe so. On the other side of what is it? The Arrowhead.
Yeah, beautiful course.
Yep.
Great elevation changes.
Yeah, that course is going to whoop my ass. And
just keep the ball in play.
Easier said than done, good sir. Easier said than done.
We got 10-point score here with 16 seconds left. The North Carolina people even have Michael Jordan dress shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at you. Come here.
Yeah, there's Duke with their time. You lose a timeout in college basketball going in the second half, so you start with 4, and you go into the second half with 3, whether you spend it or not. It's a traditional timeout here. Duke takes like going into the half.
Oh, you actually don't?
Say again, Peter.
This can't be an official timeout with 12 seconds left.
No, it's a Duke called a timeout. So
right.
In college basketball, you can only take 3 timeouts into the second half. So Duke usually calls one in the final minute of the half, traditionally.
Oh,
you can only take 3 into the weird basketball rules.
Well, a number of years ago, it used to be 5 timeouts. And so what happens is coaches wouldn't call timeouts until the last minute of the game. And the last minute of the game would take 30, 40 minutes. It seemed like of real time because they kept using their timeouts to slow the game down at the end.
Timeouts and fouls.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that part of the game.
Yeah, and so they were trying to just limit what you could limit what that could be done and to help speed up the game. Like it seems like every sport's trying to speed up their game.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Kupchak is there. Not to be confused with your college roommate, Rob, Mitch Kumstein.
Yeah, I appreciate that one, Peter. You assumed I went to college. I appreciate that.
That's a little Caddyshack reference.
I have not watched that movie in years. That's one of those movies when you watch it on TV and then you actually get like the DVD or you rent it somewhere where it's unfiltered. Like, oh boy, that's a lot different than what I watched on TV.
It'd be canceled in today's world.
Yep.
All right, we're going into half, so I'm going to go get some Food. We logging back on for the second half?
Yes, sir.
You gonna throw me into the waiting
Yep.
room?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Hey, David.
All right, man.
Hey, I appreciate you stopping by. Brutonsbooks.com. Is the link there for the golf outing yet?
Brutonsbooks.org. And yes, it is in
Org.
there. It is in there. Yeah, go on and register if you're interested in sponsoring. Great cause. We're looking to adopt another elementary school and provide them with digital learning tools such as iPads and programs, and as well as books, obviously, right? And trying to create something sustainable and help bridge that literary gap between different school districts.
No, very cool. I love the cause. I mean, there's a stat on your website where it talks about the literacy rate by third grade really is the demarcation mark of their success in graduating high school and their,
Absolutely.
success in their future career. So having kids with their ability to read early on in their school career is vital.
Yes,
So
sir.
I love what you do there, David. Thanks for all your work there.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to have to talk to you. My shoulder's a little sore. My wife got more decorative pillows on the bed I got to pull off every night. So I got to higher.
Yeah, come on by, man. I'm always ready.
All right. Hey, do you watch any of I got you here. Do you still have a few more minutes? Or
I have a couple minutes before I go get our dinner.
What do you think of the Broncos right now in the state of the nation for the Broncos? Where are you looking at them?
As far as their draft pick, as far as what they're going to do with Russ, they have a lot going on.
They do. So we'll start with the draft pick because that's really where everyone's talking with the 12th pick. Are you taking a quarterback there? Do you move up? What are you trying to do if you're the Broncos? Put your Broncos GM hat on.
I mean, what I'm doing is I'm giving Russ another year.
Really?
Yeah. So here's why. Because of the financial purgatory that they're going to be in, they're going to have to pay no matter any of the three ways that it pans out. He plays, they bench him, they cut him. He's got to get paid. So if your best course of action is, okay, he performs even better than he did last year, and you ride with him. He performs better than he did last year. You might have a little more trade value out of him.
Okay.
And therefore less money of his contract. Or, ultimately what it ends up being is okay, now you can cut him and essentially be in less of a financial bind.
Yeah. What do you okay, so that's what you would do. What do you think's going to happen? What are you seeing on the tea leaves?
I think if it falls into Coach Payton's hands, I think they draft a quarterback. I think ultimately if it becomes his decision, they draft a quarterback.
Do you think it matters that he's really never had much of a rookie quarterback in his NFL career and a proven development? Hey, my mic or my that's what my basement looks like there, David. My camera just went on a mind of its own.
I see that.
Right? That's the tour of my basement right there a little bit. There we go.
Yeah. Drew Brees was Drew Brees. I mean, he probably had something to do with his development, right? A little bit.
But he was pretty good when he left the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jameis reduced his amount of interceptions, right?
Yep.
Teddy Bridgewater was able to come back from that horrific injury and play well there when Drew Brees got hurt.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's had success with quarterbacks.
But not rookie quarterbacks.
A young rookie quarterback, right? So
yeah. Here's what I want to see happen. Samantha's saying hi to you, by the way.
Hey, Sam.
He's waving from the side, so 6:30ish. Ready. Okay, thanks. Freckles says hi too, David.
Hi, Freckles.
Bruton. So, yeah. She's like, and she's back up the stairs, along with Freckles. But so then here's what I'd love to see happen. This is because I think you're spot on with the financial purgatory the Broncos could be in, and you mentioned the guy's name that I think we have a chance at getting is a bridge is get Jameis Winston to compete with Stidham for the starting job. The question is what are you going to have to pay him? for both of them because you're already paying like Stidham like $5 million a year, and what's it going to cost to get Winston in here? But I think at that point you go, boy, this is interesting, and then kind of push out the drafting of the quarterback because we're going to be a 500 team no matter what, probably. So you're going to be in the draft purgatory of not being able to have a top 5 pick, but we also don't have like a second round pick this year. So you're going, and we actually have a limited draft selection the next year. So you're kind of going, how do we actually build up the assets that we need? Because we lost so much with Russ, lost a lot getting Sean. It's like we have to build that back up. And sometimes time is just what you need to heal a wound.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of go, it's like everybody wants to flip it quickly, but when you whatever injury you want to say you put on the organization with the Russ trade, I mean,
yeah, but it's been a while since they've been good, right? Like this year, they were competitive, right? And it's been a while since that. Like, how patient can you get?
Correct. But like I think if you go, what would they have to give up to go? And they have to get in the top 3 to try get one of the top 3 quarterbacks because the Bears are probably, at least if they're not going to take Caleb Williams, they're going to trade out. And then you have Washington right behind them. They're taking a quarterback. And then you have the Patriots, which I would expect to take a quarterback with a new coach.
You think? Well, Patriots for sure.
No, there it goes again. It's that AI camera. It's got a mind of its own. I got to be careful what gang signs I throw at it. That's what it does.
If you think Washington's going to move on from Sam Howell?
That's what I've been hearing. Which, if I were them, like, because it's also with the quality of the quarterback, is like, is the number 2 guy, say Jane Daniels or Drake May, better than Howell? And if the answer is yes,
didn't Howell go to North Carolina?
Yeah, so they could get Drake May and have 2 North Carolina.
Didn't he start in front of Drake May? Right? Like,
yeah, no, it's so that would be an interesting, interesting locker room there.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I think, do they fall? Do they get a chance to get a top tier quarterback? I mean, who could be at 12? Who could be available? Sam Hartman could be at 12. He can still be available. Who else?
Like on the quarterbacks at 12, you're probably looking at Penix, Bonix, or McCarthy.
Yeah.
And McCarthy probably is more of a, like, I don't know what, like Harbaugh's big on him, but he's also his guy. So
yeah.
But Michigan runs the most pro style offense in college football that with major success.
Yeah. I mean,
so he's, but like, is his ceiling?
Where do you go? You go Michael Pratt? Do you go?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
don't think all those top 5 quarterbacks are going to go before 12.
Yeah, but if you want Jaden Daniels or Drake May, Caleb Williams is out of it. He's going number 1.
Well, which I don't see how he's still number 1. Don't get me twisted. Like, yeah, he had a great start of the year. He won the Heisman the year before, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But just how bad they fell apart the last half of the season after my school whooped the heck out of them. They couldn't do their thing.
Yeah, no, that's something to be said is when teams fall apart. But I mean, he's just been like the consensus number 1 pick for like 2 years.
I know, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would. I mean, if I had my number 1, I'd probably put Michael or Bo up there. You know, I think Penix should have won the Heisman anyway, right? Over Jaden.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting dilemma there. Like, if they love Justin Fields with the Bears, I mean, they could trade out of that pick because they already have the 9th pick they traded for. Oh, she doesn't like that either. The Bears trading out.
He was running around bare butt.
Oh no. So, but I think the Bears are in an incredible position moving forward with all their draft capital and what they have.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Broncos are in a place to be desired as an NFL organization with what they have asset wise.
Yeah. The draft's always interesting, right? I think the more funny story of the draft is how the Houston Texans landed C.J. Stroud after Lovie Smith, won that last game. Like Houston should be thanking him.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely,
Houston should
absolutely.
be thanking him.
Hey, we got a question here for you. I am tuned in here for how to improve your golf game segment from the doctor.
Oh, there's the politically correct way, practice, and then there's the way of most of America is just drink a beer while you're on the course.
I think it relaxes people when they have a drink and they play better relaxed typically.
Yep, they relax a little bit. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, David, I know you got some pho there. I always call it po. Just because it drives me always. Oh,
can you say hi, Dede? Say hi.
Hi.
How you doing, Dayton?
Good.
Good.
You ready for some soup? Some pho? Pho?
You ready for soup?
And Smarties.
Smarties.
Smarty. So, well, David, I'll let you get to your family here. Much appreciate the time.
No problem, man.
So thank you so much. BrutonsBooks.org, getting signed up for the golf outing.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Dayton. So we're here at halftime of the Duke North Carolina game. Duke is down 35-45, and they've gotten the game close a few times, but North Carolina's really controlled the game here in the first half. The over-under is 152.5, so we're right there on track here with 80 points in the first half to hit that over. If you're looking at it, Duke's North Carolina's favored by 4.5. They clearly have that covered right now, but you got a whole another 20 minutes of basketball to go. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the first half. Roach has 10 points. McCain's got 9. Proctor's got 2 for Duke. Filipowski's only got 6, 3 for 7 shooting. Mitchell just there with 2 points. But North Carolina, they got Ingram there with 11, Bacat with 12, Cadu at 7, Davis with 4, Ryan at 5. So they're spreading the scoring out. When you're watching the first half, Duke just seems to be struggling to like they got to work harder. They got to get inside. I got to check the stats here on the team stats. I don't think Duke has shot a free throw yet this game, which team stats. Yeah, Duke has not shot a free throw. Peter, are you back? Did you get some food in you? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, Peter. But with Duke, I mean, they've been taken to the basket, but not getting free throws. The refs have been pretty quiet on the whistle. There's no one really in foul trouble. Let me just double check that, but no. I mean, Proctor's got 2 fouls and Roach has got 2, but going in the second half, not a big deal. North Carolina's only got 3 team fouls, so they're in a good spot here. So this will be an interesting second half approaching here for the Duke North Carolina game. One of the major rivalries, I would call it the premier college basketball rivalry in the country, on the level of Ohio State, Michigan to college football. So I don't know if Peter would agree with me on that, but we shall see. I think we're going to get Drew Goodman on here. Let me send him the link. This is entertaining, I know right now. We're working on getting some more people here in the second half. So going into the second half, I think Duke needs to keep attacking the basket, get to the basket, but they aren't shooting great from the outside. It's amazing how it's turned into such an outside game, but if you go to the team stats, On 3-point shooting, Duke's 3 for 8, which is 37.5. I mean, North Carolina's 4 for 12. They're just more volume shooting, but the offensive rebounds Duke's given up. It's 3 to 4, but I feel like they've just gotten more points off the offensive rebounds. North Carolina, with the seal there they have with their bigs when they do their, the high-low with the bigs. Duke's got 6 turnovers to the 1 for North Carolina. That is probably the difference maker right there. They both have 24 points in the paint. North Carolina's got 7 more points and fast break points. So, I mean, the points off turnovers is actually 0, but when you get that turnover, you're not getting a shot up either. So that's what we're looking at here for going into the second half of the Duke North Carolina game, is getting ready to start. Peter, you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. I think he's ready. Oh, maybe Peter, we're getting ready to start the second half here. Drew Goodman, voice of the Rockies, should be with us here in a little bit as well.
Drew Goodman from what school?
I didn't do the background check on his school.
Ithaca Blue Bombers.
Oh, look at that! Look at that pull.
Ithaca Blue Bombers. You know where Ithaca is?
Isn't that New York?
Yes. Suburb of Cortland. They play the Cortacoda Cup between Cortland and Ithaca. Only Division III game ever played at MetLife Stadium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get are you like one of those people with like trivia at the bar? Are you always the one just crushing it? Like, or do you like to slow yourself down so other people can win at the trivia?
Well, A, I never let anybody win. And B, having useless facts is not a badge of honor.
We used to go to the trivia as coaches when I coached in North Carolina. We would crush it regularly there versus like all these like program engineers. But like we coached basketball. Like we knew a little bit of everything. Not a lot of much. Unless it was basketball. Boy, those offensive rebounds are killing us, guys.
Us as in who?
Duke. So North Carolina, like they position their big like on the weak side of the attack really well there. They just, so if the shot goes long, it goes right to their guy for the putback. It's really well. I mean, it's really well designed on their part.
North Carolina is very patient. And they certainly have some more outside shooters than Duke.
Oh, yeah. They're shooting, it was 4 for 12 at half from the 3-point line for North Carolina. It was 3 for 8 for Duke. Duke did not shoot a free throw in the first half, by the way, Peter. So if you're conspiracy...
They didn't take the ball to the rack. How are you going to get fouled?
Yeah, they did. They had 24 points in the paint.
Only guy's the big dude, number 30, taking the ball to the rack. And he doesn't even get fouled, but he just acts like he gets fouled.
That is true. That's how you play basketball, Peter.
No, that's not how you play basketball.
Very fun. Oh, they call that on God. All right. I love a good shot fake, by the way. It's actually much surprisingly harder to coach kids that do a shot fake than you'd think.
Should be it's a necessary skill.
It is. It is absolutely necessary. So I don't know if I told you, Peter, one of my favorite post-game press interviews was with Roy Williams, and I'm a Duke fan, so this one hurts. But it changed how I coach basketball, because after the game, the sideline reporter goes to Coach Williams, goes, "Coach, are you concerned that your team gave up 80 points today?" And Roy goes, "Well, we scored 81, and last I heard, you only got to win by 1."
That's right.
And so I actually, like, because I was a big, like, Duke defense, don't let the other team score. You know, Duke's, known for their defense over the years.
Well, I think Duke, they're both known for their smart play, their well-coached teams. I mean,
yeah.
Their patience.
Well, there's Proctor's third foul. Oh, that's not helpful. They're letting him play.
That's right. Number 2 for North Carolina's. He's hurting the shot percentage on his own. If it wasn't for 0 for Duke, they'd have nobody beating anybody.
This McCain, I think, at 0. With the
Looks like North Carolina's having fun. Up by 12.
Oh, you're killing me. You're up by 12. Oh, there's a 3 there to go up by 14. Or 12, sorry, you're right. That's rough. He's 4 for 7 from the 3. Harrison Ingram.
Yeah, 55 player.
Do you have any of your clients, any basketball players, or you focus more on the NFL?
I back in the day, I had some basketball players.
Is it a different? I'm assuming it's a different culture to like get players, and because they're more guaranteed contracts.
Well, no, there's fewer players, and you're able to ascertain the talented ones at an earlier age. So therefore, the agents are getting into them when we're talking them in football when they're 20, 21, 22. In basketball, you're recruiting these kids at age 13, 14, 15. You know who are the players are going to be.
Yeah. No, that makes it a different recruiting game. That's for sure.
Yeah, 55 right now is the player of the game.
Oh yeah.
This looks like high school basketball the way they're turning it over. Wait till you see this 25 makes
back to back, especially from Roach, who's like the 7th year senior there for Duke. Boy, back and forth. They're playing between the blue lines here, Peter.
Oh my, it's
like sometimes the officials just gotta call a foul to sort of end it. Like, come on, guys, settle it down.
They're letting them play smartly.
Yeah.
This guy 25 when he drove. I mean, you know what he's doing, and they still gave him the foul.
Oh yeah. They're calling this more like a Big Ten game, Peter. Letting them play and be more physical.
Yeah, they don't do that in the ACC. Where's Dr. Drew Goodman?
He said he's coming. I just sent him the link, so I sent it to him like 5 minutes ago.
I did say he's from Ithaca, so not the smartest school.
Getting ready to go into the first media timeout here in about 37 seconds. Duke's down 9, shooting from the free throw line. Did you ever get in the myth where like the bigger guys were it's tougher to shoot free throws?
Oh yeah. Will Chamberlain was the worst.
Right?
But even still, when he scored 100 points, how many free throws did he have?
I don't know the stats on that one. You're the stats machine here. You're like the super agent Google as well.
Right, but I'm not. I don't Google. It's all stuck in my head, my cranium. Right. But I think he had like 39 free throws when he scored 100 points.
Wow.
I'll Google it right now. Hold up. Will Chamberlain, 100 points. Do you know where Will Chamberlain scored the 100 points?
Where? I want to say Philadelphia.
Oh, he was playing for the Philadelphia Warriors, but it wouldn't be a question if he was playing in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no. Sometimes a trick one there. Are you doing this because I tried to do the trivia the other night, so now you're trying to get me back with trivia?
He was 28 of 32 for free throws.
Pretty good.
For him, yeah. The game was played in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah?
At the Hershey Arena.
I have been there.
So we used to play college hockey games there.
So, growing up in Ohio, Hershey's a vacation destination.
You could start smelling it about 10 miles away, right?
Right. They're like, I think we're close. Give me some more of that insulin. He just hit another one in the corner.
I told you, 55 for North Carolina and 0 for Duke. Only 2 players on the court right now.
Man.
Let's give it a 55.
Wow.
I like the fuchsia shoes.
Do you think teams should have to wear more team shoes, or like, are you okay with guys wearing their own shoes or different? Do you want that to be more of a uniform thing?
No, there's enough uniform they wear. Let them have some creativity. Let them wear some fuchsia. Going into the TV timeout. Especially fuchsia Jordans.
Right. Let's take a look here at the stats. Let's see how 55 for North Carolina. Davis, I think, is who? Is it Davis? Yeah. No, Davis is 4. Sorry. It's Ingram. Sorry. I should have known that. Ingram's a junior from Texas. But he's got 17 of their points, but Cott's got 18. So 35 of the points are coming from those two right there. Duke's highest score is 13 with McCain.
Who's that? And number 0 is playing well.
Yeah, that's McCain, number 0. Proctor's number 5, I believe, there.
I'm a numbers guy.
So, McCain's there, got 13 points. Roach has got 12. I mean, we're at 49% for Duke, and we're shooting 27% from the 3-point line, where North Carolina's shooting 37.5%, 6 for 12, and over 51% from the field. Those are hard numbers to overcome, Peter. Those are hard numbers to overcome in basketball. When
They should just cover 55. They'll be fine. Say it again. Get the coach on the phone.
Let's start texting Shire here, see if he's like, oh, I didn't see that. I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, start covering 55. We got the World Championship of Pickleball coming up.
I know. How great is that? Do you play pickleball, Peter?
No.
It seems like more of a refusing to play.
No.
Drew Goodman's getting lined up here. Give me
I would play Drew Goodman one-on-one in pickleball.
Oh yeah, let's bring Drew on to see what he says about that. Drew, you're getting trash talked from Peter with pickleball.
You want to know what? I'd love to trash talk back at his ass, but here's the problem. Right now, I'm lying prone because I just had surgery 8 days ago for a torn quad tendon, 2 tendons. So I like his chances right now. The operative words right now. Pete, how you been, man?
No, this offer had a statute of limitations.
There you go.
I think for another week or so, that's it.
Yeah, no, you're good for a while. You're good for a while.
How did you tear your quad tendon?
You know what? I've skied my entire life, and I just had a freak thing in the in the woods of Copper Mountain, just like a trough you couldn't see, and it like out of nowhere I dropped, and it's ugly, but c'est la vie, man. I learned something interesting with that kind of trauma. They say if you're under 40, you blow your patella tendon, and if you're over 40, you blow your quad tendons.
Oof.
Yeah.
You'd rather do your quad than your patella.
They said the rehab's similar, but who the hell knows?
You never got hurt skiing up at Greek Peak, though, did you?
Remember Greek Peak? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a throwback. You could do like 400 runs in a day.
Right, as long as there was no lines. Yeah, it was like a 4-minute lift line.
I know. Crazy shit we used to do to ski, right?
Well, it was more skating at Greek Peak.
It was a hell. You're right, man. It was a hell of a lot more skating. So I was watching you guys earlier. I got a funny story for you guys. Rob,
Yes.
my first cousin is a Duke Dookie and Duke Med School. He's a cardiologist down in South Carolina now, and his wife's a Dookie also. And so I texted him 5 minutes before the game as a kidding him about the reminder that Duke Carolina's on in a couple minutes, and he texted me back and he said, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm watching it on replay. I'm not mature enough to watch it live.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. That's because when you start getting down, you just start fast forwarding it to sort of see when you start coming back if it's worthwhile to start watching it.
Exactly. See, like Duke needed that 3 there, and
No, they didn't get it.
Yeah, Peter's ahead of.
Hey, Drew, my buddy's a pediatric cardiologist at Duke.
Oh, is that right? Cool. Is he a New Yorker like us?
No, he's from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, like my wife.
Sheboygan, heart of the Midwest, man.
No, Sheboygan's up there on the lake.
Yeah, what I meant is people who are from there. I think it's a great truism that there's a Midwestern hospitality, right?
Oh yeah. Friday fish fries.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
when you see those around, it's a Catholic community. You're like, oh,
yeah, that's a different kind of toughness up there too.
Oh, yeah. So did you watch the first half of the game, Drew?
Yeah, I was watching it. I was spinning one-legged, and I guess they're similar, right? They're equally matched, and Carolina's at home. They got off to the nice start, and they've been able to kind of maintain that lead, and they've expanded it a little bit.
So Drew, which is harder and which is funner to call, a college basketball game or Major League Baseball game? And as someone as skilled as you can handle it, like the Marv Albert, but they're different. Sort of the play-by-play, but they're different, right?
Oh yeah, they're dramatically different. I mean, I guess the easiest way to answer that is I'll throw in another sport. I'll throw in football. When people ask me, similar question to that, I love doing baseball because it's night after night, and it leaves the pace of the game leaves a lot of room to be anecdotal and to have a conversation. And it's day after day, and you're kind of narrating a season. In the case of football, that's the extreme. In college, there's 12 events, right? You play 12 games. In the NFL, you play 17. There's 17 events. So each one has, profound meaning, and there's build up all week to it. And it's the same as a broadcaster. You're building up all week to that game, whether it be on Sunday or Saturday afternoon. And kind of in between would be basketball, Rob.
Okay.
And basketball is great. Like I have the Buffs on Thursday against I think Arizona State, and you get geared up and you prep for that, and it's fun because especially at the college level, those kids they only play a relative handful of games, so they really get after it, and there's passion. So I mean, I know how much you love college basketball, Rob, in our conversations, and I think that it's a fun sport to do. I enjoy doing all the different ones, the variety. It's really, I've been fortunate to be able to do that, and it's a blast.
All right, so what is Drew Goodman's Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasters?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know if I ever got that one. I don't want.
That's Drew. That's the Cortland in me. See, Cortland's a little bit higher than Ithaca.
Yeah, well, flashback and see what happened at Yankee Stadium, my friend, a few months back. But let me answer it this way because I think it's easier, Peter. Let me answer it this way: that Baseball, no brainer, Vin Scully. College football, no brainer for me, Keith Jackson, right?
Nope.
NBA, I will go, and you and I are heavily influenced by being from where we are. I'll go with Marv. And I would say overall, one of my favorite guys, and I was never into idolatry, but and I got to know him later in life, and he was a good, good person, not quite as warm as Scully, but Dick Enberg was comfortable doing NFL, NBA, center court at Wimbledon, baseball. He did the Angels, and late in his life, he did the Padres. And I really admired his versatility and his comfort level in many different arenas. But that's so funny you asked that. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. How about for you, man? Who are your guys?
Enberg was as smooth as they come, right?
Yeah.
I guess I would add, Johnny Most.
Okay.
Just because he was just so Boston.
Yeah.
The voice, the raspy. If there was ever a announcer that was made for a city and a team, it was Johnny Most.
Yeah. Good point, man. You're right.
And then growing up, and Rob, I don't know, we never got the Notre Dame games, but on Sunday they would have the Notre Dame football game, like a half-hour capsule, and it was Lindsey Nelson.
Yeah.
And all you remember them saying is, "Let's move to full action in the third quarter."
Right. Do you know how many times I've wanted to say that in a Rockies game?
Yeah, right. And then I think the legendary in football was Morty Glickman.
Love Marty. I got to. He called my all county, all whatever senior year baseball game in New York, and the last high school game I played before I went to college was Marty Glickman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is, Rob?
I do not. No, I'm a Tigers guy growing up, so I'm more the Ernie Harwell group.
Yeah, great one. Ernie Harwell's a great one. I got one for you guys hockey-wise. Two guys. Obviously, Doc Emmerich is the voice, but Gary Thorne friggin' could call a hockey game, couldn't he?
Oh yeah. He was Mr. Hockey.
Who do you got? Who else? Like Lindsey Nelson, because I was a Mets fan growing up. Loved Lindsey Nelson. Who else you got? Who do you got NFL-wise, Peter? You've spent your entire life watching the NFL.
Well, I'll tell you something. We're blessed in Denver to have Dave Logan, but Pat Summerall was a former player that really became a great play-by-play guy.
100%.
And most of the time, the great players are the color guys. But Pat Summerall really, as a former player to become a great play-by-play, there are very few. Him and Logan.
Yeah, I was. At one point in my career, I was doing spot games on the NFL at Fox, and one of the great thrills I got was they do what's known as a wraparound, and it was part of the pregame show, and it's like you do like a minute hit from whatever the hell game site you're at, and then you throw it to the next guy, and I received mine from Dallas. Pat Summerall did the thing, and then he goes, and let's go to Atlanta where Drew Goodman's standing by, and it was like, I got goosebumps thinking about Pat Summerall just threw it to me, right? It's pretty wild.
So because Rob, you have to understand, so if Drew was doing the wraparound game, he was probably doing like Atlanta Cleveland or some
exactly
game for Fox, because the game of the week was probably Dallas San Francisco or something.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. That's right.
Like what poor sap can we get to go through the Cincinnati Cleveland game? Now, I will tell a funny story. So when they were doing filming the TV show that I was in, The Agent, and we were in Cleveland, and we're at this restaurant, and Jim Nance is at the other table, and because we were there for a Thursday night game, it was the Wednesday night before, and he comes over, he's talking, and all of a sudden he's in just his regular voice, and all of a sudden the cameras come in, boom, immediately, hello, friends. Even if it wasn't his cameras, that whatever clicked, he went right to his TV voice.
And then,
But, so Rob, Joe, tell Rob the story of Marty Glickman. The first Syracuse University, the cradle of announcers. He was the first one, but the story's much deeper.
Yeah, he also was, and I don't want to screw this up. He was in the 36 track and field. He was in Berlin as a sprinter next to Jesse Owens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a Jewish kid from New York who went to Syracuse and then went on to a legendary regional, occasional, I hope I'm getting it right, national career as a broadcaster. And a wonderful guy, along with another guy from that time period, a guy by the name of Bob Wolf. Do you remember Bob Wolf, Peter?
Oh, yeah, Bob Wolf.
Yeah.
And then Warner Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, there was no relation, but yeah, Warner Wolf. That was back, Rob, when sports anchors, especially in big markets, could make seven figures. Like Warner Wolf in the late 80s, early 90s, and his thing was, because you didn't see the highlights. You didn't know what happened in the game.
There was no ESPN.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Right. You're watching back in New York, it's 11 o'clock and 11:25. All right, Warner, big night at the Garden for the Knicks. And so Warner would go, all right, Knicks taking on the Pistons tonight. Let's go to the videotape. And that was his, everything. That was his cue also to the director. Let's go to the videotape. And you watch the highlights. And here's the Rangers. They're taking on the Canadians tonight. Let's go to the videotape. And he made, and this one $1 million was, $1 million still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But he was making $1 million as a sports anchor on the news.
A local sports anchor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Rob, on the Marty Glickman thing, just to finish it, so he's in the 36 Olympics.
Okay.
And Jesse Owens had won 3 gold medals, the 100, the 200, and what they back then they called the broad jump. And Hitler was so mad, but then when he found out that there was going to be a Jewish runner on the 4x100 team, he was fine with Jesse Owens, but he basically said to the American Olympic Committee, you can't run Glickman, but you could run Jesse Owens' brother. And the American Olympic Committee capitulated to Hitler and did not let Marty Glickman run. So there was actually levels of bigotry in Hitler's Germany.
You know what? I had forgotten or hadn't recalled that, and especially as a Jew, I should. And shame on our country for capitulating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he was the first of the many Syracuse broadcasters.
Yeah, and there's been a long string of them since.
Of course, you guys left Al Michaels.
Al Michaels. Yeah, Al's had a legendary career. It's kind of sad, I think, to see him taking some heat this year, though. I guess everybody takes heat. I think he's reached the point, and tell me if you guys concur. Some of those Thursday night games, he almost feels like it's below him because it's not. It's kind of like Peter described earlier. It's Goodman doing Atlanta and Carolina, and it's like, I'm Al Michaels. I should be doing, the 49ers and the Chiefs. I shouldn't be doing Carolina, Atlanta. Let Goodman do that game. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Well, but whenever you've had the good fortune, in your business, Drew, you got to be able to call a good game, but then you got to be able to make the call at the good game. And so you have to be sort of lucky, and I guess you prepare for it, right?
Yeah, you prepare, but I believe in authenticity. I don't believe in trying to, memorize a line. If such and such were to occur or this were to happen, I'm going to say that. I think that you have to be organic. I mean, I've always believed that, but hopefully, through your homework, you're aware of possibilities. So
But yeah, right. But I mean, obviously, to call the game of the century and to have it end the way it did, and to have the catch line, that's a unique sort of confluence of the storms.
yeah, you know, it's true, and if you think about, we could do like we do in Mount Rushmore broadcasts, or you do like the Mount Rushmore of great sports lines delivered by sportscasters, and
Oh, I like that. Let's go with it. Go with it.
yeah, and maybe do you believe in miracles? I mean, is there anything that trumps that? I'm trying to think of. You know what I love? Jack Buck is, go crazy. What is it? Go crazy fans, go crazy, and he also had another one that is his son Joe is utilized very well at times. Is guy hits like a walk-off homer and he goes, and we'll see you tomorrow night, which I thought I think that's it's pretty cool.
Well, the legendary one when Bobby Thompson hit the home run.
Sure. Yeah.
What was that? It was
the Giants win the pennant. The
Giants
win
win
the
the
pennant.
pennant. Yeah, I mean that's legendary.
I think the one that, to me, because I'll share this with you, and I've shared it before, in that with Scully, I remember his last year, and it was one of the great treats of and privileges of my careers was to get to know Vin and be a colleague of him. Right? He was a legendary Dodger guy, and I'm the guy doing the Rockies. But you're in the next booth over many nights, over many years, and he was such a wonderful gentleman. But I remember, and Rob, I don't know if you've ever been to Dodger Stadium. Peter, I know you've been there. Is that before the game, it's 5 of 7 on the jumbotrons, they would play Vin Scully they would record it earlier, and he would just do about a 2-minute intro to the game that night. Hey, welcome in, fans, and this evening the Rockies are in town, and boy, they're playing good baseball, and they're being led by Todd Helton. What a marvelous first baseman. And he'd go on, and then he'd say, and your Dodgers are playing well also, and they're being led of late by Clayton Kershaw, who's won 5 straight starts, and that little redhead at third base, Justin Turner, he's hit over 400 his last 12 ball games. Well, enjoy the night. It should be a wonderful matchup. And he would do it flawlessly every single night, well into his 80s, one take. And so it was a long-winded intro to one of my favorite lines when in 88, Kirk Gibson hit that home run where nobody thought he could play. And he said, in this improbable season, the impossible has happened. I mean, he just was poetic, and it was off the cuff. There's no way you could have written that. He wasn't going to play.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Have you ever, speaking of college basketball and announcers, what about Dick Vitale?
Dick's unique. I mean, he, as an analyst, he's authentic. I mean, that's who he is. I've been around him. I had the pleasure of hosting a show. The Nuggets went when I was doing the Nuggets back in the 90s into the first part of the century. They brought him out as because we were doing a draft show, and so I hosted it with Dickie V, and he was classic. He had just written one of his many books, and every time we went to commercial break, we're up on the stage, and he's got a stack of these whatever the book was, and he's autographed them, and he's throwing them out into the crowd. But he is who he is.
Yeah.
And so I can he be over the top? Yeah, maybe, but he's authentic, and I love his enthusiasm, and I don't know him well at all, but the times I've been around him, really good person, really good guy.
No,
I remember when he was doing a Syracuse game when Pearl Washington and who's the big guy? Cycli.
Ronnie Cycle,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And he go, Jimmy B, you got Cycling, you got Pearl, you got no defense. You got no defense.
Hey,
Then,
Peter, you'll like this one. So, Matt Cacciato, one of my lacrosse buddies who played at Syracuse, and I know you played against him probably up in Vail or at some point in time.
yeah.
So, you know, all my buddies, I was one of the few baseball guys. All my football buddies were big lax guys, and so I'm up at the Cuse, and I'm up on the hill where all the athletes lived, and Pearl lived next door to my buddy Matty, and I'm like, dude, he's got to be driving a nice ride. And he goes, no, really. I mean, I haven't seen him in a nice ride. That weekend, he pulls up in a brand new Cutlass. Remember when Cutlasses were like, that was a pretty cool car to have?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So all out of nowhere, I remember that.
I would tell you this as we're at break here. Another one of the great lines was Havlicek steals the ball.
Oh yeah. Johnny Most.
When you guys were talking about lines, the first one I thought was "Down Goes Frazier."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Down goes Frazier.
That's
goes Frazier.
That's iconic.
Yeah, that's a good one. Howard Cosell. He lived in my town growing up for a while in Pound Ridge, New York, and I'd run into him every once in a while.
The greatest line of all time from Howard Cosell. Drew, your grasp of the obvious is uncanny.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want a good read, Rob, read the book Monday Night Mayhem, which documented the heyday of Cosell, Gifford,
Andy Don
in the booth. It is a great read.
Because they partied like rock stars, right?
They partied like rock stars. They had their own limos to the game. It's like they couldn't go in the same limo to the freaking game from the hotel. It's pretty wild, pretty amazing.
So Howard's son Greg works for NFL Films.
And
is actually a really good sort of, for a media person, a very good scout. Really can break down college players.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
They got a bunch of celebrities at this game. Seen Mitch Kupchak and Larry Brown.
We got Leaky Black there. Am I dating myself by saying I don't know who Leaky Black is? Is that bad?
Yeah, I drew a blank.
Yeah. I'm assuming he's a rapper, and I don't have any of his albums.
No. He's a former player for North Carolina.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Set the record for most games played by Tar Heel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. There you go.
155, I think.
Yeah.
So Drew, you call basketball games college basketball. What's it like to the rivalry games when it's just deafening in the arena? What's it like to call those and to sort of keep your composure too while you're trying to tell the story?
Well, I mean, it's awesome. Whenever you're in a building, it's no different if you're there as a fan. I guess it's a little different, but you know, there's great energy, and when there's great energy, you're pumped up, man. You get goosebumps, and to be a small part of it, and to be able to narrate a game, and it's you know, you live for that. You know, for all the games you do where it's non-conference and there's not energy in the building, when you do have those, and if it's, you know, even like Colorado State. I didn't do it this year, but the one in basketball up at Fort Collins, 2 nationally ranked teams, and you know, that was a great loud. And I've done so many games up in Moby. I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you've been there at different times. That place gets really loud, and so yeah, it doesn't have to be limited to Cameron Indoor or the Dean Dean Smith Center. There's a lot of great venues and a lot of great rivalries or matchups that provide great theater late. That's why we love sports.
Does CSU going to make the tournament this year?
I would be, yeah. I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't. I mean, they've had a couple of tough road losses. They have only won all their road losses, though, were quad one, other than their debacle and blowing an 11-point lead in the last minute at Wyoming. But they have a ton of quad one wins. I mean, they've beaten Creighton. They blew out Creighton by 22. They've they're in a good place.
What about CU? Do they have a chance to knock on the door? Or do they got to win their
No,
tournament?
I think they can get in. I think it would help them to get to the finals of the tournament, but they can get in. The Pac-12's down. There's only going to be in all likelihood 3 teams that get in, but Colorado I think is worthy. They've been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Utah's not bad. Obviously Arizona's good, but the Pac-12's down. Mountain West is a better conference at the top than the Pac. So,
all right. So Rob, you're the coach. You're down by 11. Got 5 minutes and change left.
What I'm telling my guys is, because you got the 4-minute media timeout here coming up, is what are you like? Keep the game in smaller chunks. Like win the next minute and a half before the next media timeout. You're down by 11. Can we get the game within 8 by the next media timeout? And just set some small goals instead of.
Aren't you at the point of the game, like, who's hot, it's working. We need to feed 0. We need to feed 55.
Oh, at this point, if you're Duke, you're going to Filipkowski. They've been going to him more and more. He just, in the last minute, threw one off the backboard from the 3-point line like it was a church league rec game. But, that's where he's got to, he's their star player. Going down the line, trying to make a comeback, you go to your star players. You go to the guys that got you there. And so, looks like they're looking at something. He inadvertently hit Davis in the face.
Oh, it didn't look inadvertent to me. He knew
I'm a Duke fan. It was inadvertent.
There you go. Hey boys, I gotta jump. Rob, thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate it. Peter, it's good chatting. It's been a long time, and we'll do it again.
Get your quad ready for the big pickleball match.
Drew, I much appreciate the time. Thanks for spending some of your Saturday afternoon with us.
You got it, man. Have a great rest of the weekend, fellas.
Hey, you as well. Get healthy.
Man, thanks.
Yeah, Peter, I'm trying to get the guys just to sort, like you said, know who's hot on the other team. Is like, don't let the guys that have been beating you beat you. And then, go to your, get Filipkowski, get Proctor, get McCain involved in the game.
Right.
Oh, we should have. RJ asked a good question here. We should have asked Drew. He's like, did Drew talk about what was going to happen with the Rockies broadcast? Peter, do you have any insight to that?
Yeah, but I didn't want to put, you don't want to have a guy on there. You probably gets asked that a million times a day.
Yeah.
He probably knows, but he can't really say. And I'm sure there's even some part of him has some uncertainty about his future. Big 3 by Duke to cut it to an 8-point game. And so you never, this is not, when you're having a conversational show like this.
Yeah.
We're not trying to.
We're not trying to break news or anything.
We're not trying to break news or make people uncomfortable. The fact that we're even going through any of this stuff is crazy. And, I think part of it is the changing landscape of the broadcasting.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, they're going to go. I think at some point they are going to go to joint radio TV announcers for baseball.
Really?
Same guy doing both. Yeah,
I could see that. I'm waiting till when they do more like a Netflix, like where you're not going to need cable to watch the games anymore, where you just buy your subscription to your team.
Well, it's funny. I used to be a big baseball guy, and listen to Drew, and you appreciate the greatness, but it's just hard now to watch a whole baseball game.
Yeah, no, I'll give it that. Like I have in the summertime having it on while you're doing other things around the house, and I was like, oh, Charlie's up. I want to watch this part. Yeah.
Big Duke need that bucket. They don't get it. This game is over, Rob.
Oh, you're killing me.
Turn the lights out.
13
13 points with 4 minutes left. Duke.
That's a tough to overcome that in the final 4 minutes. That's where it's like if you got it within 8, you can with the final 4 minutes, like usually you can go a possession a minute and feel pretty good about that and not be like where it's a hair on fire comeback.
No, this does not.
Oh, and I'm missing the mid-range shots.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
No. And this is where it's like Duke's got a number of young players where it's making good decisions down the stretch where you don't have to make hero plays. You just have to keep making good plays.
Well, right. But the problem here is now you just got to, if you're North Carolina, you just got to kill clock. I don't know how they do more of it.
It's not in their nature. It's once again is what got you there. Like they're a fast-paced team. That's what they do. And Duke's playing. I mean, you can see the more full court, 3/4 court pressure there to slow that down.
And they got the clock management of the Detroit Lions. All right, now give it a 55.
So you can see they get their big at the top. They're trying to do a high-low typically there. They got Filipowski guarding the big down low. I think it's
if you're North Carolina, you just don't foul.
Correct. And like they're using the clock here. They're taking it all the way down to the wire there. Just like you asked.
If the guy goes to the bucket, put your hand up. Don't foul.
Yeah, you got to get those.
Duke's got 2 timeouts left.
Yeah. 2 timeouts there. Both teams are going to be in the bonus. They got 17 fouls, so the next couple will be 1-on-1s when they foul them. Did you know they changed the foul structure for high school basketball games in Colorado?
No.
So it's more of the pro style. So you get 5 fouls a quarter and it goes right to double bonus on the 5th foul.
Well, the thing that drives me crazy in basketball is when you're playing defense, you either have to make the decision at the onset of the possession. Are we playing defense for the 30 seconds or are we fouling? It drives me crazy when you play defense for 25 seconds and you foul. No, if you're foul at the beginning. Yeah, especially coming down the stretch. I think a lot of it is they get bailed out at the end is what they're going for. So, but no, Duke's they have to have a quick run here in the next, first 90 seconds out of the media timeout here if they're going to even have a chance of coming back. They've only led, I think, once up by 2, and that was midway through the first half. It has not been really a close game for Duke. They've been in striking range a lot here until the second half. Looks like they're going to keep they're going to cover the 4.5, Peter. I didn't know we're allowed to talk about gambling.
We can talk about whatever we want.
I
mean, at least I can. I don't know with you being an agent what you're allowed to mention or.
I can do whatever I want. I just, I'm obviously I can't be giving away inside information, but I don't have any anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Fair enough. This is rough going down the stretch when you're down like this. At least there's a shot clock. Like at high school, they don't even have a shot clock. That's coming in Colorado here in the next few years, but it's not there now.
Yeah, I've been to high school games, and you can just sit on it.
Oh, the 4 corners, absolutely.
Right, and it's just it's brutal, absolutely brutal.
But yeah, with 3-11 here left, down by 13. I mean, you gotta.
If they don't score here, I'm gonna have to sign off because it's over.
It is. It's a tough. It'll be one. It's either one of those epic comebacks that you talk about in rivalry lore, or North Carolina was up the whole game.
Yeah, a little. Disappointing that you wanted it to be a great game.
I mean, I think it was a good game up until like the I would say probably in the last, going into the last media timeout about the 6-minute mark. those possessions there are crucial to sort of make it a game. And North Carolina got buckets and Duke didn't. And all of a sudden the lead went from 8 to 13. And that's, 13, you're looking at 6 possessions. That's 6 stops and 6 buckets in 3 minutes, 11 seconds. That's a lot to overcome.
Yeah, that's happening.
So that's where the fouling comes in, and they're in the bonus where they can do it.
On Wednesday, so.
Yeah. At least we'll get that win.
Big bucket. What I say, don't foul them.
I'm still on a pretzel commercial.
Don't foul them. All right, Rob, I got to make this call, so I'm going to sign off. Let's do it again this week, all right?
Absolutely, Peter. Hey, let's tell you what. Let's try to put a draft special together with your GM friends and some other guys, your NFL insiders. I have a ton of questions about what's going to happen with the draft, what the Broncos are going to do, and I'm fascinated with the Bears because I think they have some of the most draft capital to sort of turn an organization around really quick and what they want to do. So I'd love to get
right after the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. So we'll love to hear what you and your guys have to say about that. So we'll start putting the outline together and get it on the books.
You got it. Thanks for having me on, Rob.
Hey, I love it, Peter. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See ya. So we're going into the last 3 minutes of the Duke North Carolina game. Duke down by 10 to North Carolina, 82-72. And they need a stop here. North Carolina is working the clock. And they need a stop and a quick score here. And that 3 there from North Carolina with about 2.5 left will probably seal the deal. What did North Carolina shoot from the 3-point line today? They were killing it from back there. As a team, the 39.1%, 9 for 23, and Duke was 5 for 17, just under 30%. That'll change the course of a game right there with that differential. So, doesn't look good for Duke, but if you're a North Carolina fan, it looks great. But guess what? We got the rematch coming up. Let's see. When does Duke play them again? It's usually about 2.5 weeks after this one. They play again on 3/9, so about a month away, March 9th at Cameron Indoor. So we'll get our chance for the rematch. We'll get our chance. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Very much appreciated. DMAC, thank you for letting us take over your channels. Thank you for probably watching like, where'd DMAC go? He got a whole lot better looking all of a sudden. What happened? Yeah, no, just Rob here. Behind the scenes, typically I'm the basketball nerd out of the group, so figured watch some Duke North Carolina and have some friends on while doing it. So guys, thank you for watching, and we'll do it again here soon.